When it comes to the assassination of Qasem Soleimani, one of the things that came out from that, I believe it was the UAE that gave a muted statement when that incident occurred. And I think that there was a concern, right, on the part of all of the above countries, including Saudi Arabia and the UAE, about regional security at that point, because right after the assassination, everyone was waiting with bated breath to see what the Iranian reaction would actually be, and if we were actually going to then enter into another world war, as as the most negative and pessimistic points of view were saying. Do you think that there's now a realization that there does need to still be this outreach to Iran on the part of Saudi Arabia and the UAE as well? And possibly that may have begun with the assassination of Soleimani?
Well, of course, the more approach, the better relations, the better negotiations that would happen between the countries in the Gulf, whether it's between Iran and Saudi Arabia and the UAE. It's for the better of the region and for the better of the regional stability. But it is very hard to try to rebuild or reconstruct a relationship with a country where you have very prominent issues and conflicts that you're disagreeing on. Iraq is unfortunately one of those political playgrounds or arenas that they heavily disagree on. Therefore, using that arena as a mediator between them two makes it very confusing and problematic, because that makes you ignore one issue and try to solve another issue, which is less important than that. And Iraq is a much more complex situation in 2020, than the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Iran. But going back to the points made by your guest regarding the Iranian military involvement or presence in Iraq is welcomed by the Iraqi government. Well, the U.S. invasion was also welcomed by this very same Iraqi government that the U.S. invasion installed. And this is one of the main reasons why people are protesting today in Iraq, alongside unemployability, sectarianism, the security, water crisis. It's one of the major issues that drove people to go on the streets. Because the Iranian military presence in Iraq, is because of the U.S. military presence in Iraq, which is welcomed by the Iraqi government in Baghdad. People are not happy about it. If the Iranian government or the Iranian side sees it as a cooperation, which I am shocked that they do, if they do, for Iraqis, they find it as an indirect invasion. Having a military presence of another state within your own state is problematic, and it's even more problematic when those militias are controlling the political scene in your country. When that country is using those militias for their proxy interest in Iraq, reaching to the level that they would even get involved in on whom would be the prime minister of Iraq. I don't see that as a cooperation. I see that as a destabilization, as a meddling into another country's affairs.